Mr. Secretary, I want to express my severe concern with the deployment of the National Guard in Los Angeles without consultation of the state of California. There have been photographs that have shown these troops sleeping on the floor and have not been provided fuel, food, or water by DOD. How long will this deployment last, and why were we unprepared to provide them basic necessities such as food and water?
The commanders and troops on the field are very well prepared, sir. They responded incredibly rapidly to a deteriorating situation with equipment and capabilities. We have made sure from the top down, as the Secretary of Defense who's been in a unit holding riot shields outside the White House during the chaos of the summer of 2020, I know what it's like to be immediately deployed into a situation like that. There are moments where you make do as best you can temporarily, but we are ensuring they're housed, fed, water capabilities in real time from my office, because I care that much about the California Guard and the Marines and the men and women who are supporting our ICE agents on the ground.
You should check
it's true every day, and that's a disingenuous attack that misrepresents how much we care about our troops and what they're doing to defend ICE agents. I'm not going to take the fact that we don't care about the troops. Nobody cares more about the troops at the top than this Secretary and the Chairman and our department.
How long will the deployment last?
We stated very publicly that it's 60 days. Because we want to ensure that those rioters, looters, and thugs on the other side assaulting our police officers know that we're not going anywhere. We're here to maintain the peace on behalf of law enforcement officers in Los Angeles, which Gavin Newsom won't do.
What is the estimated cost of the deployment for the Guard and the Marines to L.A., and where's this funding coming from? Will it be coming from quality of life programs that affect our service members or our families? If you want to wait till I finish.
Before I hand it to
such as updates, housing and barracks.
Before I hand it to Bryn, the insinuation that we're pulling money from housing and barracks in order to fund this is disingenuous and incorrect.
I'm just asking.
Bryn can give you the numbers. Absolutely.
So the current estimated cost is $134 million, which is largely just TDY costs, travel, housing, food, et cetera.
Where's it coming from? That's the cost, but where's it coming from?
Their O&M accounts.
With the most recent deployment of the Marines, Mr. Secretary, what's the justification for using the military for civilian law enforcement purposes in L.A.? Why are you sending war fighters to cities to interact with civilians?
Every American citizen deserves to live in a community that's safe, and ICE agents need to be able to do their job. They're being attacked for doing their job, which is deporting illegal criminals. That should happen in any city, Minneapolis or Los Angeles. And if they're attacked, that's lawless, and President Trump believes in law and order. So he has every authority, and he has done mobilizing National Guard or active duty troops under U.S. code to protect federal agents in their job, which is exactly what we're doing, and we're proud to do it. We're proud to do it.
10 U.S.C. of the U.S. Code 12406 as a legal basis that the President used cites 3 examples and circumstances for the Guard: invasion by a foreign nation, rebellion or dangerous rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States, or the President is unable with regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. Which authority is triggered here to justify the use?
I don't know. You just read it yourself, and people can listen themselves, but it sounds like all 3 to me. If you've got millions of illegals and you don't know where they're coming from, they're waving flags from foreign countries and assaulting police officers and law enforcement officers, that's the problem.
The laws of the United States?
No, the governor of California is unable to execute the laws of the United States.
The President, you said all 3 apply.
The governor of the California has failed to protect his people, along with the mayor of Los Angeles, and so President Trump has said he will protect our agents, and our Guard and Marines are proud to do it.
The law also says, Mr. Secretary, that the orders for these purposes shall be issued through governors of the states.
You and I both know that President Trump has all the authorities necessary, and thankfully he's willing to do it on behalf of the citizens of Los Angeles, on behalf of our ICE agents, and behalf of our country.
We've also pulled $1 billion for the border as well. So this just goes into the same fund, 134. What did
Congressman, what's the
134 million? I was asking Ms. McDonald.
Okay.
134 million goes on top of the billion that's been pulled for the border.
So the funding that was pulled for this year was largely in FSRM, and in this budget we're actually looking to plus that funding back up to backfill that for our troops and for their families.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What we just witnessed goes far beyond a tense back and forth between Rep. Pete Aguilar and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. This is a moment where politics, constitutional law, military tradition, and the future of democratic accountability collide. Aguilar is not simply nitpicking logistics when he raises the issue of soldiers sleeping on floors without proper food or water. He's raising a larger question. If the Department of Defense can move National Guard troops into a major American city without even consulting the state government, then what role is left for states in deciding how force is used on their own soil? This isn't just about discomfort or disorganization, it's about process, authority, and legitimacy. Hegseth pushes back hard, saying the troops are cared for, and framing Aguilar's critique as a disingenuous attack. But notice his strategy here. Rather than directly address California's exclusion from the decision-making process, he shifts the narrative to loyalty and sacrifice, invoking his own experience in uniform. That's powerful emotionally, but it doesn't resolve the constitutional tension Aguilar is pointing to. Then comes the money question, literally. Aguilar drills into the $134 million price tag. Why does it matter where the funding comes from? Because defense budgets are always a zero-sum game. If you move money to fund a politically charged deployment, something else inevitably suffers. Maybe it's barracks repairs, maybe it's family housing, maybe it's training readiness. Aguilar is spotlighting the trade-offs that rarely get discussed in these hearings. The real flashpoint, though, is the law. Aguilar cites the statute, 10 U.S. Code Section 12406. It allows the president to mobilize the Guard in 3 extreme situations: foreign invasion, open rebellion, or when states cannot enforce federal law. Aguilar is basically saying none of these conditions are present in Los Angeles. Protest, unrest, even violence do not equate to foreign invasion or rebellion. But Hegseth's reply is sweeping. He argues it's all 3, that illegal immigration, flag-waving protesters, and local government failures amount to a justification for military presence. That's the crux of this confrontation. If the threshold for deploying troops in U.S. cities can be stretched this broadly, then the door is open for federal military involvement anytime a president declares a crisis. That fundamentally changes the balance between states and Washington. It also blurs the line between military and police work, something the U.S. has historically avoided precisely because of the dangers of militarizing civilian life. And here's where Aguilar's questioning hits deeper than just Los Angeles. He's sounding an alarm about precedent. Today, it's about protecting ICE agents. Tomorrow, it could be protests in another city. Once normalized, it becomes easier and easier for presidents of any party to use the military as a domestic policing tool. Think about it. The genius of the American system is checks and balances. The military answers to civilian authority, and state governments hold real power over their Guard. Aguilar is essentially reminding the room, and the country, that bypassing these safeguards might win a short-term political fight, but it risks long-term damage to democratic norms. So what should we take away? It's not just about whether California likes or dislikes federal involvement. It's about whether the system of governance we've built for 2 centuries is being rewritten, not through debate and lawmaking, but through executive force. That's why Aguilar presses so hard, because the cost here isn't just $134 million. The cost could be constitutional integrity itself. Now I want to hear from you. Should the president have the power to unilaterally send the military into American cities? Or is Aguilar right that this undermines state authority and democratic accountability? Share your thoughts below, because this is one debate where public understanding and engagement matter more than ever.